Welcome. I am Tam of the TamBoTC channel, but using my Muldrin voice. I'll be narrating the next chapter of Dragon's Nest, The Dragons of Deltora by Emily Rada, a scholastic book. We are on chapter 5, The Four Sisters. So I want to briefly say that I'm sorry that I didn't get to this in quite a while. I actually lost the book for a while. And I've had several personal issues, as well as I've been catching up with other series on my channel and such. And I might make this, I hope you don't mind, but I might mess up a couple of times, get a voice wrong. Hopefully I'll improve over time. If I don't, I suck. As well as, I mean, we have plenty of time. This is just chapter 5 of, holy crud, many. And, like, I'm seeing stinking 18, there's 19, probably 20 chapters in total. And, I'm using a Skyrim background for the dragon, just flying around randomly. I hope you don't mind that. I have the volume really low on it, so hopefully it won't disrupt. If you want it higher, let me know. It's kind of like background sound, but not too high so you can still hear me. And, yeah. It might feel at times, too, kind of like I want to make it kind of feel like a Let's Play, but not really, and it's more subtle, and there's less, like, commentating on some of the goof-ups I might make. So, I hope you can still appreciate this, read along, and still love it. I'm not a professional, and of course you probably already know that because you've seen me suck before with these, and some of the voices are a bit cringy, what I'm probably gonna do. I even think they might be cringy to myself. Like Leaf's voice. Gosh darn it. I tried to make him sound very, like, fragile and weak. And I watched that anime recently on Deltora, and it just gives me an entirely different perspective of it now. So, let's get into this before I lose my voice forever. So, we're on page 36 for chapter 5, Four Sisters. Let us begin. A wave of fury swept over Leaf, burning like the coals of the fire. He swung the hammer high and smashed it down with all his strength. The hammer had sank deep in the softened glass of the crystal, bending rather than breaking it. Gray ooze ran into the hot coals, sizzling, burning. Leaf wrenched the hammer free and prepared to strike again. "No more, Leaf," Doom said quietly. "Let the fire finish its work." I wasn't quiet. The buzzing was patchy now, coming in short, harsh bursts. Somewhere deep inside the glass, a feeble red light flickered. What was that other voice? Jasmine shivered. Why did it speak of Endon? Of your father, Leaf? Leaf wet his lips. It was a memory, he said. It was my father's chief advisor, the spy Prandine, talking to the Shadow Lord just after father became king. The crystal must somehow keep a record of everything that has passed through it, said Jasmine in wonder. But now it is broken and dying, and it is spitting out snatches of talk meant to be locked up forever. Those buzzing sounds, I think they are voices. The sounds of centuries of plotting, betrayal, and wickedness, no doubt, said Bada grimly. I have no wish to hear them. He leaned over the slowly melting glass and spat on it, his face heavy with hatred. Then he moved to Doom's side. Your arms are tired, he said abruptly. Give me the bellows. We need more heat. Doom nodded and Barda took his place beside the forge and began working the bellows steadily. I think that was supposed to be Doom, but I'm not sure. Wasn't too obvious with that. The glowing coals flared. The crystal began to lose its form and color. There was a faint clicking sound. Click! From deep within the clouded glass. Yes, that was my best clicking sound. Then the red light flickered dimly, and the voice of the Shadow Lord came again. The 4 sisters are in place. Slave. The sisters of the north, south, east, and west. Have you done your part? Oh yes, master. Everything you ordered. This voice was different from Prendine's. It was higher, more whining. An earlier chief advisor to an earlier king or queen. Leaf guessed. He felt ill and began to turn away. Then he heard something that turned his blood to ice. Good. The sisters will do their work well, and the wretches of Deltora will never know what killed their land, even as they leave it or die, hissed the voice of the Shadow Lord. But you will know, master, and I, said the other speaker eagerly. There was a long, low laugh. You, Drum? Oh no. Like all good plans, this will take time to bear fruit. By then, I will have tired of your flattery, and you will be long dead. Drum whimpered, but wisely made no other protest. I have many plans, Drum, the harsh whispering voice went on. Plans within plans, and all of them with one aim. Deltora must be mine. I need it for the gems and the metals beneath its earth, and for its calm southern harbors, perfect for launching ships of war. I understand, master, stammered Drum. And Deltora will be yours, as you wish. The 4 sisters will ensure that. You understand nothing, hissed the Shadow Lord. If all goes well, Deltora will be mine without the sisters' help. I would prefer to take the people alive. Even miserable wretches like them can work and provide. entertainment. Leaf pressed his hand to his mouth to stifle a groan. He felt Jasmine grip his arm, heard Barda and Doom whispering curses. Straining every nerve, he bent towards the melting, collapsing crystal, shut his eyes, and listened. Barda had let the bellows fall, but the coals still raged with heat, and the hissing voice of the Shadow Lord was growing more faint, more jerky, and buzzing every moment. But if what that idiot soothsayer dared to say before I tore out his tongue is true, the evil whisper went on, if there should come a time when a king rises from the people like the accursed Aiden to wear the belt and overthrow my plans, then, slave, I will have the pleasure of knowing that this king defied me only to watch his land stricken and his people die. And I will have Deltora despite him. But there was a muffled sound, as if Drum was clearing his throat nervously. But, Master, if such a king should ever exist, which of course I hope he will not, perhaps he will hear of the Four Sisters and try to find and destroy them. The enemy, the upstart, whose name you have forbidden me to utter, dared to mark their places on the map. And that has been dealt with, his master whispered. The upstart has the fate he deserves. Also, the map has been removed, and my marks have been put upon it. But it was not destroyed, wailed Drum. Surely it should have been. Too late, he realized. He had spoken too hastily. His next sound was a high-pitched scream of agony. Ah! Jeez, that was awful, actually. Do not question my decisions, the voice of the Shadow Lord hissed. Did you not tell me that you had followed my orders? That the part of the map you were given is safe? Yes, Master, yes, sobbed Drum. It is in a place where it could not be safer under my eye and yours. Then this king will never find it. I dare him to try and go more quickly to his death, sneered his master and laughed. The laughter was still echoing in Leaf's ears when the glass of the crystal began to boil and the red light at last went out. This king will never find it. I dare him to try and go more quickly to his death. The ancient sneer burned in Leaf's mind. He knew that he was the king who had been foretold by the unfortunate soothsayer. He was the one for whom the Shadow Lord had laid a trap. He was the one who was destined to save his people from tyranny, only to watch them die. It was long past midnight. The twisted lump of metal glass that had once been the enemy's crystal had been cooled, then smashed to powder and trodden underfoot. But the triumph the four companions in the forge should have felt had been snatched away from them. They knew they should hurry to the palace, ring the bells to signal to the people that they were safe and the crystal had been destroyed. But none of them had the heart to do it. They wandered into the forge, and sat down together in the moonlight. It seemed we keep solving one problem only to be faced with another, said Bada wearily. It reminds me of those painted wooden birds travelers sometimes show, the ones that you can pull in half. Open one bird and there is a smaller one inside. Open the smaller bird and you find one still smaller, and so on until there is a bird no bigger than your thumbnail, and inside that is a tiny egg. I have plans. Plans within plans. Leif stiffened, but the voice in his mind was only a memory. The crystal is destroyed, he reminded himself. That menace at last is gone. My mind is my own again. The four sisters, muttered Doom. Sisters of north, south, east, and west. It is like a riddle. The man they called enemy, an upstart, knew the answer, for he drew a map to show where the sisters were, said Leif. If only we could find out who he was. Our one clue is that he lived in the time of a chief advisor called Drum. Joseph can surely tell us when that was. The man himself is not important, Leif, exclaimed Jasmine. The important thing is his map. Drum had a part of it, hidden in a safe place. It may still exist. After hundreds of years? Jeered Doom. Why not? Jasmine flashed back. The palace is full of things that have been there for hundreds of years. That is one of the reasons it seems to me a tomb. And surely the palace is where Drum would have hidden something valuable. He lived there. Yes, and he told the Shadow Lord that this part of the map was under his eye, Bada put in. Under my eye and yours, said Leif slowly. That is what he said. Suddenly, a startling idea came to him. He jumped up. His heart had begun to beat very fast. And what was under the Shadow Lord's eye? He exclaimed. Under the Shadow Lord's eye, as well as Drum's. Is this another riddle? Growled Bada. If so, I am in no mood for it. But Leif was already running towards the forge. In moments he was back, dragging the blackened table frame that had supported the crystal. Bada, by the way, is an impatient dink. Under their eyes, he panted. What else can that mean but this? But it was in the fire, cried Jasmine in horror. If the map was fastened to it, Leaf shook his head and threw the table frame onto the ground in the full glare of the moonlight.
Drum would have been more careful than that,
he said.
If the map is in this frame, there must be a secret compartment somewhere.
He crouched and began running his fingers over the scorched wood. In moments, Jasmine, Doom, and Bada had joined him. The search was long. The varnish on the wood had swelled and bubbled in fire, leaving the surface of the table frame so rough that Leaf soon despaired of finding a secret compartment by touch, as he had hoped. Then Jasmine cried out excitedly. As they all crowded to look, her finger traced a small rectangle on the inside of one of the table legs.
A piece has been cut away here, then replaced,
she said.
Do you see? The patch fits very tightly, but the grain of the wood does not quite match.
Leaf, Bada, and Doom stared blankly at the table leg. They could see no change in the grain at all. But none of them doubted Jasmine. She had grown up in the forests of silence and knew trees in all their forms, as no one else did. There's a little picture here at the bottom of page 44. They watched as she fitted the point of her dagger into the edge of the patch. Only she could see. Soon a small block of wood had fallen to the ground, and Jasmine was slipping her fingers into the shallow hole, now visible in the table leg.
There is something here,
she whispered.
I have it.
Very carefully, she withdrew her fingers. Between her fingertips was a folded scrap of yellowed paper.
I cannot believe it,
breathed Barda. Gently, Jasmine unfolded the paper. It was a fragment of map, old and creased, but strangely familiar.
It is Deltora's east,
Leaf breathed. He pointed to the large S marked on the map fragment.
And that, I imagine, shows where the first sister lies.
In a place called Dragon's Nest, said Bada.
I do not like the sound of that.
It is the rhyme I do not like, said Doom. And they all stared at 2 lines of verse, which had been added to the map in a strange bold hand. Sisters 4, with poison breath, bring to the land a long, slow death. And that is the end of Chapter 5, The 4 Sisters. Next is Chapter 6, The Upstart, which has been mentioned in Chapter 5 several times. The map is... Now, to describe a bit of the map, there's a river that's like L-shaped. It's got a couple of roads leading up. It looks like there's... That looks like, yep, Forest of Silence. There's some... I guess that's supposed to be like tree patterns or something. It just looks like 3 blobs. Then there's little hills over here. I can't read what that says, though. Something hill. I can't read it. And then it's got the rhyme that it said, Sisters 4 with poisoned breath, bring to the land a long slow death. Ha 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 ha. And a giant S pointing to the spot right near the end of the river. Well, it looks like a river at least. and it says Dragon's Nest next to it. Hey, that's the name of this book. So that's where they're heading. So I hope you enjoyed the background too that I used. Remember that we'll be on chapter 6. I don't know when I'm going to be getting to the next chapters, but just know that I'll be getting through these. If you like the voices that I used, let me know. You can always write in the comments below, whatever, as long as you're not too rude or inappropriate. Like, I mean, I would be sure that you wouldn't want to be that way. But no, but seriously, we'll try and get to this at some point. I'm glad to be back, baby. Okay, that sounded lame. Anyways, I'm glad to be back, dang it. And I use this dragon background, because I thought it was cool and it has something at least going on, sort of, even if it's the same thing over and over again. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Shut up, Voss. Go away. That's a line you stole from Albert Einstein. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you next time. And hopefully Maldron will return with his own series of funny videos and such. And I hope you didn't mind me messing up too much here and there and kind of commentating on a few things. It's not meant to be a perfect read-along, and I know that, and I'm sure you do too. Hopefully you do, unless you're going to be disappointed. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed again. And goodbye and have an awesome day, all of you. Ha 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 ha. Oh, jeez, this voice. Cut that out. Cut that out of the video. I said cut that out.